Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Today is Monday, April 3rd, 2023. And if you're in the EU, you can get your money back from FTX. An OG crypto exchange shuts its doors in the United States. And we have to talk about Bitcoin's liquidity and volatility. That's today in Web3. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. Please do me a favor. Subscribe, share, and like this video and all the other videos. And for doing so, here's a picture of a G'd-out Pope. We're going to get into that story in a little bit, but let's get into those headlines. If you're a listener of this show in the EU, well, I have some good news for you. The European arm of FTX, FTX EU, has launched a website to allow European customers to submit withdrawal requests. This comes 5 months after the whole FTX scandal back in November. The new website domain is ftxeurope.eu and is reportedly approved by Securities and Exchange Commission according to a report by Finance Magnates. This is not the first time this happened. Customers of Japan was able to withdraw their funds, about $50 million worth, back in February. So, congratulations to the EU. Hope you get your money back. This next news kind of hurts a little bit. This was my first exchange in crypto, Bittrex, or Bittrex, and this is their icon, their logo, their mascot that they started with. Well, Bittrex is the 71st largest digital asset exchange with a 24-hour volume of around $11 million. Bittrex agreed to pay U.S. authorities $29 million in fines because they allowed customers from Iran, Syria, and Cuba on their platform, sanctioned countries. So what does this mean for Bittrex US customers? Well, here's the timeline. April 7th is the bank account setup deadline for wire withdrawals. April 14th is the trading deadline. So that means if you're trading on Bittrex in the US, that means you can continue to trade until April 14th. However, if you want to take your fiat currency out, you're going to have to do that by April 24th via wire transfer. However, if you're using ACH transfers, you can do that by April 27th. Remember, we're talking about wire and ACH transfers, which means your US dollars, your fiat currency, but you can withdraw your crypto all the way until April 27th. And by April 30th, all operations in the United States are going to be closed. If you're a Bittrex global user, you're going to be able to continue, but this is the end for Bittrex US. The world's largest asset manager, BlockRock, said that it believes that the Federal Reserve is going to continue to raise rates. Their analysts predict a 25 basis points increase. So the question is, what does that do to cryptocurrency or Bitcoin? Previous rate hikes show that it has mixed results. The two largest drops in Bitcoin's price came on May 5th for 7.9% and June 16th, 9.6%. That's when the Feds raised rates 25 basis points and 75 basis points respectively. However, moving forward to July 27th was one of the biggest rises in Bitcoin's price. The Fed raised rates 75 basis points and Bitcoin went up 8%. The moral of the story here is that Bitcoin is going to be volatile for the foreseeable future. But that's not the only news about Bitcoin and crypto. With the closure of these crypto-friendly banks, Signature, SVB, liquidity is drying up. Connor Ryder tweeted, "The liquidity situation in crypto is worsening after the bank's fears this month. I divided it into several liquidity metrics to give an update on all things crypto liquidity. First, Bitcoin liquidity has dropped to a 10-month low as market makers lose access to USD payment rails. It's the same story for slippage. On a $100,000 sell order, Bitcoin USD pairs has increased 2.5 times the slippage as the previous month. So what is slippage? Let's use one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin today, let's just call it $28,000. And there isn't one person to buy a whole Bitcoin. There's not enough people to buy a whole Bitcoin. So they're buying maybe a half a Bitcoin at $28,000. But then there's a couple people that want to buy it at $27,500. But then there's a couple people that want to buy it at $27,250. So basically the only way you can sell a whole Bitcoin is that you start at 28, but then it slips down all the way down to $27,250. So that's your slippage. Connor finishes his tweet thread saying, to tie a bow in this thread, and to end on a more optimistic note, volumes have at least picked up off the multi-year end lows. With volumes picking up, we're just waiting on liquidity to improve for a sustained uptrend in crypto. Otherwise, be prepared for volatility. And in more Bitcoin news, the US government is selling their stash of Silk Road Bitcoin. They just sold $215 million worth and are preparing to sell another $1.1 billion worth. And like I said, they got this Bitcoin from the Silk Road seizure. Real quick, what is Silk Road and who is Ross Ulbricht? Well, Ross has been in jail for about 3,471 days. He's a first-time offender, and he's going to serve 2 life sentences plus 40 years without parole. And what he did is he started a website called Silk Road. And Silk Road was an exchange for the most part, or a kind of like a Craigslist, but for legal and illegal goods. Mostly it was buying small amounts of marijuana, but other drugs, cocaine, LSD. There's also other very illegal acts being done and transacted on Silk Road. But the fact is he built a platform and people are doing illegal things with that platform. But because he built it, he's doing 2 life sentences plus 40 years. The government has been holding this Bitcoin that they got from Silk Road for some time, and now they're dumping. There's 2 things to say about this. Number 1, don't worry about them selling their Bitcoin. It's not going to adjust the price at all. $1.1 billion does nothing. You're not going to see it make a blip in the market. However, I would pay attention to why the government is selling now. What regulations or actions are they trying to get ahead of? Are they trying to front run the market, sell their Bitcoin before they do something that's going to force it to crash? Obviously, I don't know that, but it's an interesting time to be selling it right now. Are you one of the lucky people to buy a Trump NFT? If you were one of the lucky people to buy a Trump NFT, they have just almost hit an all-time high, going up 24% in the past 24 hours. Their floor price is selling at $1,023. Obviously, this is on the back of the Trump indictment. Trump gets indicted, his NFTs go up, more money for everybody who's hodling Trump NFTs and for the creator fees. So Trump is getting paid for getting indicted. This is a very interesting story, and there's a lot of moral, ethical, human questions about this. Midjourney is the company behind the popular text-to-image AI image generator. Basically, you make a prompt, you tell the AI what kind of image you want, and then out of thin air, it makes this image for you. It could be based off of real people, fake instances, situations. You can make fantasy lands or real cityscapes that look like New York or Los Angeles. Well, Midjourney AI generator has shut off access to its free trial version following the rise of deep fakes generated by its technology. The founder of Midjourney, David Holtz, wrote, "Due to a combination of extraordinary demand and trial abuse, we are temporarily disabling free trials until we have our next improvements to the system deployed." And why are they doing this? Because of things like this. Justine Moore tweeted, "Something wild is happening on the Midjourney subreddit. People are telling stories and sharing photos of historic events, like the Great Cascadia earthquake that devastated Oregon in 2001. The kicker is this never happened. And this is all fake. It's fake news and fake AI-generated images." One that's a little more popular that's been going around is the fake images of Trump getting arrested after his indictment. These look fake, but you see where this is going. You can make up a story, make up some images, and without really analyzing the images, you can get caught to think that it's real. And once the images get better, who's to say it's not? My favorite images, of course, is the Pope on the catwalk. Which one's your favorite? I mean, yeah, it's all fun and games until you start making up fake news, fake events, and having images to go with it. It's gonna be only sooner or later till something catches, fire, gets around the media, gets on Fox and CNN and MSNBC, until somebody just calls it out and says, hey, this really never happened. And that could happen one time and we go, oh yeah, shame on us. But if you're totally bombarded all the time with fake news and fake images that look real enough and sound real enough in an environment where fake news is almost being treated like real news, and now you have images to boot, how much trouble can we get in with this? And what's the balances? What's the roadblocks? What's the walls, the barriers, the guardrails that we could put up, to try to prevent this? Where does that infringe on creativity and speech? And while you're thinking about that, and while I'm looking for somebody to talk about that, here are today's crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Before we get into our crypto prices, what are the top 10 coins by volume for March? Bitcoin is at about 1.19 trillion in volume. Tether was number 2. Ethereum was at 324 billion. USDC, Binance, XRP, Rapdeath, Arbitrum, because they're doing their airdrop, Dogecoin, and CoinFlux were the top 10 cryptocurrencies by trading volume in March. And the time is 9:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We have Bitcoin sitting at $28,195, down about 0.4% in 24, while Ethereum's at $1,808, also down 0.4%. Tether's number 3, Binance is at 312, down 0.6%, and USDC is number 5. I know there's a lot of downs, but we're pretty much even. Let's just call it even. Running off the top 10, we have XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin, Matic, and Solana. I just want to point out that Cardano is up about 11.8% in 7 days. The total market cap is in at 1.176 trillion. We have a BTC dominance of 46.4 and an F dominance of 18.5. And that was our show today. Thank you everybody for watching Today in Web3. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I will see you tomorrow. And until then, happy hodling, everyone. Hey everyone, the bull run is coming. It's coming quick. And you need to be up to date on everything that's happening in the Web3 space. So please follow us on Twitter and like, subscribe, share these videos so we can keep you up to date daily on Web3 News.